Hello guys, welcome back to another video. This is probably going to be my last breach guide for a while, but I'm going to be doing it on Split, as he's still quite meta on Split. You can have some other agents like Fade, Gecko, Sky, but yeah, breach is still a very viable agent for this map, so I'll be covering it. And the reason why he's super good, yet again, there's a lot of verticality, but there's actually so much potential for his aftershock on this map, more than the other two maps I covered beforehand, I would say. So yeah, let's get right into it. So for 8, there's a lot of sort of variation you can do with your stun. If you want to take ramp, you can quite easily stun ramps. Quite simple stun to do. Or you can get Omen to flash it and you can save your stun for maybe sight. Like you can kind of flash a lot of the sight with that. Or if you want to kind of maybe get like a different kind of flash, you can flash this. And obviously flashing these corners is always going to be a good thing as well. So yeah. There's a 3 main kind of flashes I'll do for taking sight. You can obviously flash like this if you want to take ramp as well if your team are bad. But I recommend just doing like a support stun or flash for your teammate. Maybe flash like this and get your raise to satchel or something like that. And for your aftershock, like you can aftershock this if you wanted to. Kind of similar, you have to aim around the corner. You can aftershock this corner if you want to. Maybe stun it. It's just so like something is clear. If you don't have any recon, you can kind of use either aftershock to get benefits. So you don't have to clear corners or check for them. Or if you want, you can kind of save your aftershock for my favorite place, which is kind of behind this kind of sign here, showing the map. And yeah, that's kind of how I'll take it, to be honest. I wouldn't really. And you can also go ahead and stun one side of elbow if you wanted to, if you want to take elbow. But most of the time, just use your stun for sight, and your team should be able to take elbow without too much utility. So yeah, that's kind of how I would take it. For B, if you want a fast take, you can just simply just stun and then maybe a raise conceptual close, because you should realistically have a raise on this map at all times. And then you can kind of just flash your way out like such. And then I would kind of suggest maybe flashing around this pillar, clearing this, and then taking backside if you're on breach. And this will be snaked off, so you don't actually have to worry about looking there. Another thing you can do with your stun is you can kind of stun backside like this, or you can stun and aftershock this. Now clear out backside for you, which is super strong for breach. And like you can kind of stun this and this. You can aftershock it, and this aftershock will cover both higher and lower for close. So you don't have to clear that, but preferably you want to be using other utility to be clearing that, such as maybe a Fade Eye or Prowler or Skydog or whatnot. So yeah. If you also want to switch up your stun, you can just stun solely for back, by towers and rafters. And yeah, so that's kind of what you would do. You can flash this as well if you want to take backside. You can take it quite easy with that flash. You can kind of flash this box if you wanted to as well. So I'll get anyone heaven. And this is quite a good flash because this flash is like across the corner. So anyone like here, here, here will get flashed. So you can kind of just aim around this sort of line here and just send your flash through. That's not the best flash you can do, but you don't want to be doing the same flash every round, obviously, because it'll become predictable. People will be able to swing off it, and plus you can't really play off that flash for yourself. And in case you need to, if you got a bad team, you're gonna need like them close flashes that you can swing off. So yeah, that's kind of how I would take B, and I'll quickly just do the ults for both. To be honest, I don't really recommend ulting B too much. I recommend kind of doing something like this, something kind of similar to that. If you want, you can aftershock into the flashing and flash high like such with your ult, because they're all going to be sort of shoved back into this corner. So that flash is going to be super good with that ult. And quickly for A, because I missed it in the first segment of this video, it's quite an easy one, to be honest. If you do want to ult A, you can just literally ult everything from here. The only disadvantage is if you've got nothing to clear that, you're going to have to stun it, maybe aftershock something as well, and your raise can play quick. But yeah, make sure you are combining a utility with your teammates. You're combing everything, obviously, because breach can be quite bad in terms of just playing for yourself. You're going to need to rely on your teammates. So to rely on them, you're going to need to tell them what you want from them, and that's the first start. Because you can't just expect that. They don't know what you're doing. They're not a sidekick. So yeah, let your teammates know everything you're going to do and how they want you want them to play off your utility. So yeah. For mid, there's quite a few things you can do. You can stun, be heaven like that, and your team can play off it. What I like to do as well is if I've not any recon, I always like to aftershock that side because that just gives you so much less to clear. You can kind of put yourselves in positions where if you know there's no one there, you can kind of just worry about this. Maybe flash high, take this space. That should be smoked off if you want to take B heaven, by the way. If not, you can very much easily just flash your way into here. Obviously clear this as well if you need to play off your own flash. Half the time you want to be just support, stunning, or and whatnot for your team. Once you're up here, you can clear everything. Maybe you can use your second flash on the store frame. If you saved your aftershock, you can kind of use it there if you do have utility to clear this. Or if you really want, you can use it for just below you so you don't have to clear it. You can kind of see people back up, maybe go directly underneath there. Yeah, there's a lot of it. If you don't use your stun, you can stun kind of wherever. You just want to get creative. As I said in a few of my last videos, always be looking at your map. Make sure your awareness is good, just so you can like react, stun people for your team. If you see them on the map, you can stun them, make it a more favorable fight for your teammate to win. And yeah, if you're coming from this suicide, you can flash like this just to take that early bit of space if you're alone or you're the lead forefront of your push. And then I always recommend just flashing this, to be honest. It's just quite easy to break out and to be heaven off that. So yeah, that's kind of my tips for mid on breach. I'm gonna show you some defensive things you can do. You can also ult it as well. It's not bad to ult, only if they're fighting for it though. If they're not fighting for it, then don't ult it. So yeah, I'm gonna show you some defensive stuff, and I'm gonna show you a few retake ults and stuns you can do. So yeah, let's get into that. If you're holding A, you can kind of just stun like this for your team if someone wants to push up of that. You can kind of catch them off guard. So you can flash this spot right here if you want to. I can now flash B main and people won't be expecting that straight away, to be honest. If you leave it a little bit, someone will probably be crept into this corner, and if you want a free kill, you can most definitely easily just do this. If I can find the spot, kind of just want to do it right around there. Yeah, you want to be using this little pillar as a point of reference because it's the only place you can really kind of aftershock from. You can kind of do it from here, just anywhere along this line, really. I think that's probably the best aftershock, actually, now that I think about it. But then the flash, just do it from around there. If you want to fight for a main control, as I said, you're going to need a team to really utilize that utility properly. If you want to hold from ramp, you can kind of like really flash just quite out to the corner, so get some covers as much as possible, and then you can just easily swing off it. So yeah, I do recommend doing that. You can maybe catch one, or you can kind of stun like this as well. So yeah, but I don't really recommend breach on ramp, to be honest. I don't think it's very strong. And if they do enter site, you can kind of just use your utility, make sure you flash them, try and delay some time for your team to retake and start rotating across the map and maybe get a pick if you're lucky. So yeah, that's kind of how I would hold A for breach, to be honest. Just maybe support stun or flash for your team to really take advantage of. And it would work perfectly if you had a raise ult as well. And you can also ult it too. Don't if you have ult, you can ult that too. And for retaking A, I mean the only ult you really can do is just simply like so. You can kind of flash out here, clear this, and really start making your charge. Hopefully your team are with you. If not, then don't invest in your ult. Yeah, realistically, you shouldn't have to clear that. One of your teammates from heaven should have jumped off with the ult and would check that for you. But if you have to, do make sure. You need to be map away. You need to know where your teammates are looking and what they've cleared and what they haven't. You need to try and pick up on their slack. If you do want to ult from heaven, though, I don't really recommend it. You can't cover all of elbow. The range is a bit worse. But that's kind of the only ult you can do. Maybe you can combine an aftershock off your ult. Or if you know someone's there, you can like stun aftershock them. Maybe get yourself a free kill. If they have enough time to get unstun and peek you, be ready for that. If you need to retake, this flash is also quite good as well. Can take back a lot of space. So yeah, that's kind of how I would hold and retake A. I'm going to show you B in mid. So for B, similar again, you can stun this via maybe your jet can get a free peek. There's not really any aftershocks you can do from this sort of place, so I think Breach is kind of better suited for A, but if you need him for B, just kind of like play the round by ear, see where you think they could be, play off your sound, stun if you hear footsteps here, maybe stun and flash him, and then you can swing, maybe get a few free kills, or get someone else to swing a bit quicker off of it. I don't always recommend ulting unless you have like a Raze ult or something where you can, double ult straight away. Raze can maybe get 2 or 3, hopefully, if they're grouped up B main, which is quite rare in high elo, but in low elo it could work out quite well. So yeah, that'd be kind of like the only real aggressive plays on Breach you can do. If you do want, you can sort of play across this, and when you hear them walking up, you can kind of double flash up, maybe get a few kills. It'll be quite predictable though, and it'll be a waste of 2 flashes, but you can invest one and try and get a kill. But I'd say Breach's flashes are kind of bad for swinging off of in high elo because people dodge them quite fast these days. But in low elo, like no one ever really dodges a Breach flash, so you can definitely get away with it. So yeah, for retaking, I mean, there's a kind of a lot you can do. You can flash this whole side off that pillar, maybe stun back so you can even like throw an aftershock down if you wanted to as well. As I said, if this isn't clear, you can throw an aftershock down there. Just really use your util to just clear angles and whatnot. Maybe stun for your teammates to walk out CT. And if you want to just make sure no one's holding you from this side, you can sort of kind of flash it to make it look like you're not going to clear it and then pre-aim them. Because if you're flashing this, they're going to flush people from backside. So the only place you would realistically be exposed from is here. But that flash still catches them anyway, so they're going to have to look away, which will hence leave you into getting a free kill. Here, once you've gotten that free kill, I'd instantly kind of like back up and reposition and hold this angle, just so you're not exposed from this whole side, and your teammates from CT can walk out and keep them occupied anyway. And for a retake ult, I mean, you can kind of ult from anywhere you want. This ult isn't too bad. It's pretty decent. CT ult wouldn't really be my go-to ult because it doesn't cover a lot of backside. So if you were gonna ult from B, I would usually ult from Heaven. Unless you're like really desperate and you need to win a run and you want to invest your breach ult, maybe you can get away with it if you have like but you can maybe stun it and then ult, and then maybe someone from Heaven can go and pick up where the ult is slacking. So yeah, I'm gonna show you mid. So for mid, I would suggest this is kind of limited for breach in a sense. Is you can, if you want to ult this is a good ult if you just want to fight and take space straight away. And the real reason why this is a good ult is because people like to roam around like this area of mid, and it catches them off. Maybe you can kind of stun that and flash it as well. Obviously, you'd have someone fast pushing off of that, so in real time it would be a lot more effective than I just made it look. But yeah, that's kind of where breach would be really useful on mid in terms of actually holding it. I mean, you can flash and swing and maybe get a kill or whatnot, but I think breach is kind of limited for this set kind of site. No, if anyone's kind of playing like across spawn here, you can maybe aftershock them. That'll be a decent aftershock. You could maybe invest your stun into it as well if you see their head poking out and then get a kill. You can kind of do that across anywhere on the map. If I was going to play breach consistently, I'd kind of play them on A, maybe switch up for B for a few rounds, try and get a play going there if you think they're going to play B, if that's your read. And if your read is they're going to hit mid, then obviously you can invest your ult and take that space early. And once you have mid in a round, it's quite hard for them to really win because you kind of have access to so many retake spots, vent, tower, and you can flank them as well pretty easily. So it is quite useful to have mid control, and it means you don't have to worry about anyone lurking up behind you as well. So yeah, so anyway guys, that will be the end of the video. Thank you for watching. That'll be all the breach guides now for the foreseeable future, unless you guys really desperately want to see another map, maybe like bind or something. So yeah, let me know what you want to see next, and peace. Bye.